The rules of building an empire. Listen, let me tell you something. If you building an empire, first and foremost, every great leader was an even greater follower. You have to understand, Steph Curry started on the bench. Everybody got to ride the pine. I don't give a fuck who you is or what you do. You had to learn from somebody before you. That's rule number one. But being that you is a follower, you have to understand this. Before it was G-Unit, it was 50 Cent. Before it was Rockefeller, it was Jay-Z. You just have to sit back and be blessed to understand that you got the opportunity to learn from your boss mistakes. That's rule number one. Do not let opportunity control your loyalty. Because you see the opportunity to go play for another team that's winning and you want to switch on your dog them, that don't make you real. That's fake. That's fuckboy shit, and that shit do not get no play, and you will burn many years behind that because God sit high and he look low. Loyalty go far in this game. Let me tell you something. If you following a boss right now that just out here selling dope just to get a name on the street, or out here doing some shit just to get a name on the street, he ain't putting nothing towards the team. He ain't up here trying to help the team grow into an empire. You're on the wrong team. Understand that. That's rule number one. You have to understand every move you make is for your team. Being a boss is putting your family before you, putting your team members before you. You have to put everyone before yourself because that's a strong empire. That's a strong following. That's just what building the empire is.
Hey, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles at Great Millstone, and peace to you, sincere brothers, the true house of David. And that goes along with the scriptures. The scriptures say, the greater you are, the more of a servant you shall be. And that's what this thing is about. It's about, for you, if you're on a certain level, you have to humble down and to be that great servant unto the ones that's actually behind you coming up in your stance. You know, as greater you are, the more humble you should be. That's why the Lord, he washed the disciples' feet. And he did that because it was showing a sign of humbleness and actually showing a sign of leadership too. You know, being a leader is not always just ordering people around, telling people what the fuck to do. Being a leader is being a greater servant when you're dealing with these scriptures, and not always seeking the easier road is not always the best route for you to go. Because a lot of men with this truth, they see like the numbers and they see the clout and they see this and they see that, and then they think like, well, them guys getting recognized, maybe I should follow that route. That's not always the good fucking route. The best route in this truth is to take the humble route and to take the low route, not always trying to be the one that's up on a pedestal or trying to be liked in this world. Because one thing about this truth, what they're trying to do is water down the truth. So it's a famine of the word because of the true word, because the majority of men actually teaching this word, they ass ain't right, and they ass is watering down the scriptures so they can be liked by the people in the fucking world. A lot of you guys, have taken this truth and you try to get women off of it, get your following so you can look good in this world. And a lot of you are not teaching how the prophets did. That's why we know a lot of you dudes in high places and low places, you're not the prophets of old. A bunch of you guys are a bunch of goddamn robbers coming up another way, as the scriptures say. And you're not coming up in the steed of the prophets because you want to be liked in this world. And we see through that fake ass shit. We see through the clout and the subscribers and all that shit. We see through it. We see that a lot of you men deep down in your ass got a hole in your soul. As the Lord told the scribes and the Pharisees, he said, you may appear good on the outside, but in the inside, your ass is all full of dead man's bone. The Lord said, clean which is in the inside first. And one thing about this truth is the flesh is going to constantly war against the spiritual. So you may see, or you may notice, the longer you be in this truth, you may see that over time your physical life will begin to things may happen in your life. You may tribulations and trials, and you may go through more things. But in the spirit, that's just confirmation letting you know that you're growing through the spirit. Now, a lot of men can have these trials and these tribulations in their life where it can interfere with their spiritual, and guess what? Bring them out of the truth. But then for other men, those tribulations in your life can help you build you up for the spiritual. So you have to be built in this thing. You have to have a spiritual mind to be built up and do this truth for the right reasons, not for the corruptible reasons. Because a lot of men, they have this truth. They doing this thing for a corruptible crown. And that's just how it is. And the Most High is going to kill a lot of you men, bro. And we see that. We see it, man. We see it. A lot of you guys are not sincere. You're a bunch of goddamn demons that want the clout and the favors of men in this world. And that's why the Lord talks about you have to put this world off. You see? A lot of you guys are not in that state like Moses was, where he put off the shine and the being somebody for a season to suffer with his people. And a lot of you don't really want to suffer. You want to be the man on this side and not even really teach the scriptures unto younger brothers. You don't want to be a servant unto brothers. You want to be a boss over brothers. And this thing is about being the ultimate servant. Okay. And one thing, if you have personal things going on in your life, do not bring that into the brotherhood. Do not bring that fucking attitude. If you're catching hell in your life, don't let your attitude trickle down to the brothers around you. Meaning, if you have some shit going on in your life, keep that shit going on in your life and don't bring it in amongst brothers and have a fucking attitude with brothers because you catching hell in your life, man. Leave that shit behind, you see? See, that's why this truth, as you grow in it, and we begin to see a lot of men as they grow in this truth, they're not really cut out for it. And then less men than many are really cut out for it because it's a lot you have to deal with and handle. And then, like I said, a lot of you really don't want to be hated. You want to be look good as an image, which is real bad because the Lord, he didn't have a good image. The prophets, they really didn't have a good image, but they had a good relationship with the Heavenly Father, and the Lord was with those men. That's the only thing good about it. Having a Heavenly Father on your side, and that is it, and that is unseen. But as for you men out there, a lot of you look at this thing as to get a following and as to be somebody of this world, when in the meantime you're teaching this truth almost like the Christian church, leaving out things so men really can't grow. So you have to be aware, man. And also too, in this truth, you have to be aware of men that wait to an opportunity to see when your ass fall. Because you have a lot of men that's a bunch of pieces of shit out there that they wasn't nobody in the world. They never had shit in the world. But what they do is they'll wait and see when you fall so they can point the finger at you and then try to slip up in your place. You have a lot of men with no integrity. They're really not righteous, and the Lord is really going to kill a lot of men that's in this truth. As for being a man of integrity and being a leader, you have to look at this thing as having real faith, having true integrity. Therefore, the men around you, they will have true faith and true integrity themselves. See, if you don't really believe in this, the men around you, guess what? They're really not going to believe in it either. You see? If you're really deep down a demon, then the men that you gravitate towards yourself, they're going to be demons too. So you got to understand that you have to be real with yourself. Therefore, you can be real unto others. Take care of yourself, then you can teach other men. A lot of men, they want to teach other men, but then really they not even right they motherfucking self. They haven't even went through shit themselves. You see? You got to understand that, man. You know, a lot of men, they want to teach other men, but then they can't even, they're not even teaching them they goddamn self. And when they go through adversity, they always point the fucking finger. You know, be a man and own up to your fucking mistakes, man. You see, when you make a mistake, you made a mistake, man. You see? You gotta understand that, man. You know, this truth is for your salvation, man. This truth is for your salvation, man. Hold on, give me 1 second. Yeah, this truth is for your salvation. And every man had to believe for his own self. And if you don't understand that you have to really believe, and if you have men following you, you have to understand that the greater you are, the more you should be a greater servant.
MK. Okay.
But yeah, man, in order to successfully maintain in this truth, we have to grow. When you take if you take ownership for your actions, that shows that you're growing. If you can't take ownership for your actions, that shows that you're not growing. Pointing the finger and going back and forth, tit for tat, you know, you have to own up for the shit that you've done. Over the years, I've done things. But then over the years, I've been in interaction with many personalities and many type of men. And the majority of men who I've came across, they've been a bunch of goddamn demons, man. So remember, the greater you are, the greater servant you shall be in this thing. And if you believe and if you have integrity, if you have true faith, and you are a true man of integrity and of righteousness, guess what? That's what you're going to attract unto you, true men of righteousness and integrity. And the men that are not in the same mind frame and the same mindset as you, guess what's going to happen? The Lord is going to remove their ass out of your presence, man. So, you know, the greater you are, the greater you humble yourself, and the more you are the more greater you are, the more better servant you should be unto brothers. That's why we do these sit downs and these lessons all the time, because the Lord gives you a stronger and a better portion. Your job is to help bring brothers up on that level and be a servant unto men through the Spirit. And that is why we teach this thing, and we be hot for the Lord, and we teach other brothers to be hot for the Lord, so they can build a relationship with the Lord one-on-one. And every man can be a spiritual super house. But with that, Lord willing, that was edifying. And you know, to be a great leader, you got to be a better follower. And to be a leader, man, that means actually having integrity. You know, knowing when you're wrong and knowing what to do when you're wrong, to owning up for your mistakes. You see, we all make mistakes, but it takes a greater man to own up to them. And with that, man, to be on to the next one. Hey, Shalom.